Hello everybody. Welcome to this video of conversation on entrepreneurship and the new age of entrepreneur, which I haven't done a YouTube video in a long time, and it's actually been on my mind for a while now. Well, not a while, but a week. And I thought I'd take time out, not to just to do a 10-minute video, but to repurpose my energy into other areas besides just the platform that is being attempted to be purchased by Meta called TikTok. I'm not getting any traffic, just like I get no traffic over here on YouTube. And it's funny, it just really is interesting to be a researcher of platform and have no followers and have been participating in all value props that have been delivered and by all age ranges. From as a very multidimensional individual who has a lot of real education in science, history, self-awareness, fitness, and the list goes on and on. It just baffles my brain to see what people say and what's actually being consumed. So people will tell you their strategy on how they produce content, but that only works for them because they already have the people viewing their platform. Understand what I just said, and you'll really understand that these people are teaching you as if you're a business, freestanding business with a building of old school stuff. So it's all old school generation of conversation generating no income for you as a influencer, business person. See, even if you have 1 million followers, which is a lot of people, I actually even feel like I should have said 1,000 people. If you have 1,000 people and 25 of those people purchased the item, you've literally created a format to begin the process of building your business. But the problem with society at this time is nobody's interested in building real businesses. They proclaim themselves to want to build real businesses, but they're not doing anything for anyone else but fueling their ego, their fan base, and getting what they want, which is a Hollywood career. It's very similar to what Obama did when he was in office. They call it attention grabbing seduction of sex, and they say sex sells, but sex doesn't actually really sell. Interest sell, which is the interest graph. And a person who's good at sales creates the interest graph for community. And that's what people don't understand. Is that if we're comparing one influencer to another influencer, is the interest graph is more heavily weighted on one side versus the other side. Think about that for a second. The interest graph is weighted in one idea over another idea, and then that fuels sales. You can do sales as products, but you can also sell they're selling information now. So I used to think selling information was selling your address, your phone number, your likes and don't likes, but what they're selling you on is ideas. So in the old days, you were born into this world, and then you had parents, and then you would learn from your parents based on your community, and then you would grow from that, and then you would go to school, and then you would learn a lot about what your other students' parents were teaching them. Your teacher would teach you, and then you would slowly evolve into education and knowing what everybody else was up to, and then you grew in who you became. So there's really actually no such thing as reincarnation. That's the humorous part. It's like every time, like I'm talking to the people who believe in reincarnation. We're kind of digressing here a little bit. I just find it interesting that Indians think and believe in reincarnation, yet you're never born into the same family. So and even if you were born into the same family, the dynamics of the family are different. And so you have characteristics in a life that's completely different that doesn't even involve that last life. And I know this somehow relates to an entrepreneur, but I'm not really sure how it's connecting quite yet, because I don't bring things up unless it's connected. So maybe it'll come up later on the reincarnation connection. So there's a lot of educated people who have a lot of really valuable information that I've learned from on being they didn't always call it entrepreneur, business person, a person in business, a person who works for someone. If you have a job, you are an entrepreneur in your own personal space. That's the craziest thing of all. An entrepreneur is just somebody who works. But what they've created an entrepreneur to be now is to be somebody who doesn't work, who makes a 1-minute video and then capitalizes off of the weak. And then nobody stands up for those weak individuals who are weak-minded and who are everybody's carrot chasing. They put value over looks, over money. They put value over connection, over authenticity, while the people who claim to have connections are completely inauthentic, but educating you on what the new version of authentic is. The increase of mistrust between one person to the next is incredibly insane. It's absolutely insane, the amount of mistrust that's subconsciously being bought by everybody. See, we've invited foreigners into this country because Biden said it was a good idea. That's dictatorship conversation. When all of Congress says close the border, they're agenda fueling and for a particular secret reason in association to some other country. Everything I'm saying has everything to do with entrepreneurship. How you are in one way of your existence is how you are in all ways. So if I'm pissy with somebody because of them putting this napkin right here versus here, then, and my mom did that. Let's say my mom did that. And then I go to work and I'm in a pissy mood, the same reaction is going to happen. That's how you are in one way is how you are in all ways. You know, there's some discrepancies there because if you do the work, you can evolve yourself from one point in life to a new point in life, but that doesn't happen very often if you just sit there and follow the sheep. So people think that all these influencers weren't following the sheep, and that's how they became viral. But that's actually how they became viral, was that they were fueling the agenda of what the sheep wanted. So when everybody's speaking on their platform and they're talking out their rear end of a entrepreneur space 10 years ago worked in the dialogue you're speaking to. However, in today's day and age, you're an old ass, and this younger generation is literally just throwing stuff out there and seeing it ride. They're literally not putting any ethics, morals, which is their responsibility, because they were told they didn't have to have any expectations of who they were being, and they've never had an education to begin with, so they don't have a free think space because they're working with a company called Big Think that uses visual propaganda of a robotic existence. The problem is that people don't understand that that's brainwashing tactics. We've seen it in movies. We've seen it in awkward behavior between actors in movies. And if you relax too much in the visuals of conversation around these particular types of movies, and I'm talking about entrepreneur, because these entrepreneurs watch these movies and then they model and mirror the behavior from the movies. This is why these women are behaving like that. And then you as followers and fans, well, you thought that they were better than you. That gave them validation to continue the behavior. They thought they were better than you. You said that they were better than you. And then they got paid by corporate America to tell you that they were better than you. Then they tried to educate you on how great they are by buying products and showing it into your face. And then you felt sad and jealous. And then everybody just seemed to numb out. You all just numbed out to the problem and said, well, she's just so attractive. Look at how lucky she is. Look how lucky she is to be traveling all over the globe. She barely does anything. To the point where you actually started validating the behavior as if that was normal behavior, and then you started behaving like it. We've got Harvard graduates, Columbia graduates who are supposed to be the leaders of the country because you were intelligent in science. You were intelligent. You were educated in English and math and science. And now you're the abusers, which is everything that we need to know about our future when it comes to politics. Anybody who went to these colleges that are uprising and were involved in it, that's why everybody needs to be arrested in association to these, so that we can take a look at their record and see what they're willing and capable of when it comes to our high-end businesses. We want to see how weak-minded they are in the sense of, well, they were willing to turn against the United States of America for a problem that really has nothing to do with them. Meanwhile, we're watching people from Palestine do movie set roles as they do have phones. While people are being held hostage, and then they come out completely mentally ill, and then Biden proclaims to be holding one of those young children in the White House as if he is a savior when we all know that he's part of the problem. How does this affect entrepreneurship? That's how it affects entrepreneurship. You don't want to go against the grain because now we're in this turmoil of tragedy, trauma, and selfishness fueled by a government system that is teaching you how to be leaders, because that's another language of calling yourself entrepreneur. And then we have people not willing to be brave enough to say, no, that's not entrepreneur. Instead of saying that is not that, you standing in an outfit and telling everybody that you bought the shop online nasty bodysuit and then describing your rear end as you show off your erotica on a TikTok is not entrepreneur, that's prostitution. And then instead of just saying it out loud, that is not entrepreneur. Showing an example and saying, this is not entrepreneur. Because what this arises when she's wearing this is an emotion of seduction inside you, or I want to look like that too, and then the person will want to purchase the item. Although when the item comes, you never look like that. So you either return it or it sits in your drawer and you never make a video because you're a customer, you're not an influencer. Because not everybody wants to be an influencer. The problem associated to her content is that she has nobody else in mind but herself. And then a man will go to her and then he'll say, wow, you're hot. Notice there's no depth in education except for gossip and drama associated to the bodysuit. And there's countless of people out there doing the same thing, which has then reinvented the form of entrepreneur. So I'm telling you that that's not entrepreneur because you're not actually fixing a problem, you're creating a problem. So instead of you saying that that's creating lots of problems in your business, you thrive off of it and said, look at her wearing the outfit and look at how she went viral overnight. So you reward the behavior. And then instead of directly saying to her, you're a piece of trash, and then I'm not really sure why you're here at this event, you give advice to help this person who literally is going to use it to abuse millions of people, including a man that's going to fall for it. So, for example, with the girl in the jumpsuit, that jumpsuit is inappropriate. You should not be making content like that. You're only 21 years old. I'm 49 years old, and you should not be making content like that. I'm not really sure why you're satisfied in the results that you're getting aside from money value, because you're not bringing money value to anyone else. It literally is a showmanship of you trying to be Hollywood. But see, what happens with that is you lose fans, you lose followers, because people want to be propped up and given people don't go to your talks to hear you speak. They go there to steal your energy. Because if they were there to hear your speeches, they wouldn't be recording you the whole time. And then when they got to the front of the line to ask that question they've been thinking about while they were in line the whole time, they'd actually be interested in the answer that they're receiving and then put the answer into action. That's called Hollywood. And everybody's buying it. See, some people embody the information and have lived it, and the other people are just pretending like they know what they're talking about. Now, I keep going in a circle around not going into the opposite direction of what all these people do. Not only do they help these people do more bad upon all of us, and you're all so naive and so easily brainwashed because the ease factor continuously shows up. That's the old American. This is Muslim America we live in right now. This has been created by all of our entrepreneurs, by Kim Kardashian, who's Armenian, and a lot of other people who have supported these people, such as Philip Anschutz. See, the Muslims like to control people. That's why they wear the hijab. Then they created a narrative around why the hijab is an ineffective form of existence. But the reason they wear them a hijab is because they manipulate people into a belief system to get you to relax out of the event of a fart stench of simulation of sophistication. And then they grab from you what they need, whatever it may be, whether it's a laugh, a spark of joy, a acceptance for their bad behavior, or whatever it is. And then they run with it, and then it grows like a tumor. And it actually is accentuated by the encounter and engagement of this old way of thinking with the way we used to talk when it came to motivation speaking. They capitalized off of it versus living that actual experience. They don't do any actual work associated to what they speak to. See, that's the key in all of this. Not only that, but when you're in a role where you're a leader, you have to speak at someone that's unless you're pissing someone off, you're not doing your job. Because that's the new way of trained thinking. You've trained these people into conversations like this. The I don't care what other people think. The conversation of that suit is not reaching the amount of people that it could reach because you're not affecting the people like they want to be, like they could be affected, versus you look like a trash heap. You should not be wearing that. It's inappropriate content. And so then they leave the conversation between you and them feeling like they got validated for the actual piece of content that they created. And then they just go create a shift in more sex, sexuality, versus actually delivering on anything form of education. See, we're dealing with 20-year-olds and men for that matter. And they say that in the old days, they used to say that all you had to do was make your man's pee-pee hard and then you could get what you wanted. And so now you've all proven that actually is true. And so what they've done is they've now decided to overthrow all your entrepreneur ideas, overthrow the political system, and then let men sit in the sidelines while they go around and get women and men to submit, while your women stand on their little pedestals, while Kim Kardashian walks into the White House with Kamala Harris, and they bullshit us until the end of time. And that's what it looks like with women in charge, while they abuse women who actually have something to say. See, you don't know how women operate in their brains. They operate in cults and clans. They don't want other women to succeed. They only want to think of themselves as beautiful. They want the success. They want the man. And even when they get all of that thing, they're never satisfied. These are the women that you've created. So they nitpick you apart. They cheat on you with other men. They find women who are happily married. They disrupt marriages. This is the women that you've created. These are little girls that become women. And now you've made it accessible for these women to create influencing platforms off of your content. Whether they say it or not, it's unspoken at every party you attend, at every event you show up with them, and every picture that you frickin' take. And now you've invited the Middle East into the picture, and you don't even know how foggy-brained and deep the Middle East and the Indian culture is. I'm definitely all about world peace, but not when you place my Constitution at risk. We're not a democracy, we're a republic of the Constitution, meaning, of course, Biden wants Kim Kardashian at the White House, because if the majority decides, then all you plastic surgery faces with all your platforms who are getting free rides and no responsibility, who are not paying taxes, a lot of cash under the table we're moving. Of course, these people are going to promote Biden, and then you as fans and followers are going to agree with those people because they've tried to build a level of trust. It's more than trust. It's like feeling ease and then agreeing to what they're up to the point where you even have your idea in your mind that you're going to vote for one person, and then you'll accidentally vote for the other person because that's mind control. And you're not strong enough to know what I'm speaking to. And let's not forget of the underlining underbelly of the voter fraud that really does exist while they continuously feed you. That is, voter fraud is not real. It's real. No way would a community vote for Amar. No way would a community vote for Chuck Schumer this many years after what he's done to New York. No freaking way would you have voted for the dude of New York who's the mayor, or the guy out of Chicago, or the dude in Baltimore. No way in hell that you would vote for that guy. Look at how they've reacted to big events that were caused by the Democratic Party. Meanwhile, these people are allowing orgies on stage. This is all stemming from Entrepreneur. And then none of you say anything. You just stand there and smize and say, well, let's just take some more pictures in a time where the world is falling apart. So literally, kids at college are jealous of people that are influencers. So they look to the path of least resistance because the Palestinians this is like gangs, brought them in to coddle and cater to them and make them feel accepted. They finally listened to my voice. They're finally teaching me on how to be in control. And now they have encampments where now the police are tiptoeing around children. Violent children, at that matter. Meanwhile, you continuously promote bad music, bad Hollywood, and the bad education when it comes to emotions, which you should not be teaching on any platform because you're not educated in what any of it means. And that goes for people who went to school for psychology. It's case-to-case basis on the way people perceive things, and this collective creation of mindset. You cannot look at someone and just say, well, you're worth it. No, you're not worth it. You haven't done shit in your fucking life. You're not worthy of being viral. You're not worthy of being an influencer. Tough shit. And that's how you really talk to somebody. You don't just say, well, you're somebody now. No, you're a nobody. You're literally going to sit back and expect everybody else to do the work for you. That's the truth about these influencers. And then they stand on a pedestal with hair and makeup and they look good doing it. And then they create an image and a brand associated to it. And now they're selling you on not only ideas, but on products. And now relationships. And now on motherhood. And they're rolling in the dough and you're rolling in your grave. And that's literally the pathway of Entrepreneur at this point. While no one is holding ground for the suppression that's being experienced on these platforms, and how only certain individuals are allotted the amount of playtime to be heard and seen by people who actually have education, such as people that are over the age of 50. And there's some really intelligent people out there who went to Harvard. You won't like what they have to say, because what they have to say is ethically, morally sound, and they have expectations for you not to wear an outfit where we can see your private parts. But to you, that's freedom for you, but for everybody else, we're held in a cage of uncomfortableness. So what does that tell you? That we're living in the same era of World War II and the Roaring 20s, where people and influencers are abusing all of us, and then we're all going to have to suffer for it, but they will be able to still continue to thrive on influencing platforms. And there's a whole section on this of behind the scenes collaborative moves called trending that TikTok has been involved in. And we all know that not only Hollywood has been involved in it, but the high-end traffickers of information are involved in it too, with the only intent to fuel yourselves, not to actually assist other people. That means you've missed the whole fucking purpose of being on this goddamn planet. This means you live a worthless fucking life. That means you're an empty, soulless fool who doesn't believe in God, who doesn't believe in anything actually, only worships themselves in the mirror. And back in the 90s and the 2000s, that shit was embarrassing to watch. And now it's glorified. Not only is it glorified, everybody wants to be like that. And that's the form of what the media pushes in our face, while Kim Kardashian stands in front of our White House and does kissy face peace fingers. While she says, I will forever take naked selfies, while she receives awards for it. Now that's the future of this country, with influencers like yourselves still educating on old school style businesses without waking up to reality conversations of what actually needs to be heard versus what these people want to hear. And that's all I have for you now. Thank you for watching. I haven't made a video on YouTube in quite some time, but I hope you enjoy.